Hey fam, happy Sunday. Hope you're having a good Labor Day weekend. I want to come on here so I can talk about the Dave Chapell Sticks and Stones special that's on Netflix. This was really good, y'all. And I'm giving it all away here, so I guess, yes, there's spoilers, all right? So my favorite comedians, just so you have an idea where I come from, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, and I'm definitely loving Dave Chappelle even more so than I did, okay? So this special, it's about an hour long. And after the special plays, then there's a little bit of credits, and then there's a 22-minute Q&A with the audience members. And it's just them passing around the mic, asking Dave questions. He's up on the stage, smoking, talking. It's cool. That was interesting. So basically, my favorite comedians, what I love the most about them is the fact that they just don't give a damn what you think about what they say. And that's why I think I've definitely gravitated towards Dave Chappelle. As many of us do. We love someone who just don't give a damn and gives it to us real. And it's even harder to do that nowadays, but Dave is sticking to it, and I love that. So basically here he starts out talking about social media, how we have the whole cancel culture thing going on, and what he was saying basically is anything that you said from 5, 10, 20 years ago via Twitter or via comments you left on somebody's post, if it's found, it can be used against you and to the fullest extent, basically putting you on blast, having livelihood stuff taken away from you, jobs. It's really crazy. And part of the reason it's so damn crazy is because we change. We're human beings. We grow. We get better. And if you are not the same, if you haven't changed as a person within 10 years, I don't know what you're doing here. You're a waste of space. So I'm like, we all screw up. We do it all the doggone time, and we have to grow. And it is what it is. But some of them are so outrageous they're coming after people for. Mainly Kevin Hart. I heard what he said. I didn't see a big deal with it, but hey, I guess whatever. I can't believe, and mind you, he apologized for that years ago, okay? Years ago. And yet and still, he was dreaming his whole life to be the host for the Oscars, I think it was. I don't know. And they basically demanded that he make an apology for his joke that he made. And he said no, but then still turned around. He quits, basically. And then he turned around and still was apologizing, and I don't get why he has to. I think it's ridiculous. Okay, from there, he goes on to talk about Finding Neverland, that documentary that was on HBO about the two boys who claim that Michael Jackson sexually abused them when they were young. And I'm with Dave on this one. I don't believe them. I don't. First of all, when they were children, they got on the stand and testified on Michael Jackson's behalf, saying he's never touched me, he's never done anything. And they were kids when they testified on the stand. Mind you, they're in their 30s now. And we all know Michael Jackson passed away about 10 years ago, but never while he was living or any time up until these last couple years have these boys changed their story. And I'm not buying it, sorry. Dave even went on to say that if you haven't seen the Neverland documentary, don't. That's a bad look. Just the way they portrayed this, and I agree. It just, if you haven't seen it, I probably wouldn't, because I don't believe it. Anyway, to each their own. Believe what you want to. He goes on to talk about R. Kelly, and I'm with Dave here too. He did it. He's done it all. I believe so, and I believe that finally his karma has caught up to him. We'll see what he ends up dealing with. All right, then he went on to talk about the LGBT community. And I thought this was so funny how he set it up, because he basically said that we all think that all of them are one big community that works together, and he's like, no, basically. We have I'm not trying to get the comedic part of this to you. I'm just trying to say how he set it up, basically. So he believes in his mind it's like a car, and there's a gay white man driving, there's a lesbian sitting next to him, there's a bisexual in the back seat along with transgender person. And he said that basically the white gay guy is driving because He's the perfect fit for that. And the reason he's the perfect fit is because he's a white man. And because he knows that white men are the ones who made it so absolutely crazy, difficultly insane for gay, LGBT people to just to exist. He knows the road that he has to travel to get them where he's going. He's the most equipped to be driving this car. It makes total sense. And then what he also said is that they all seem to understand that they have to go through all this, but it's sort of like they don't treat transgender the exact same way they treat everyone else, because honestly, it seems like having that transgender person in the car is making the ride a lot longer and harder, basically. And it was just funny the way he said it. And honestly, I'm going to put this how I think of it. In the black community, we have tons of shades of black people. And with that, we have colorism, okay? So we have extremely dark black, light skin, caramel, you know, to are you really black? Somebody so light you can't believe they're black. So we have all this going on, and we have colorism that's going on amongst us. And of course, colorism was placed upon us by the white man, of course, starting way back in slavery, but it still exists today. And we argue, fuss, and fight, and still fool with each other. And sometimes we hate each other so much that we kill each other. I'm like, this is just is what it is. And that's sort of how I took away, you know, his little scenario there with the LGBT people driving in the car. Anyway, I thought it was funny the way he set it all up and spoke about it. And he basically said that transgender people cannot stand him like they hate him. All right, then from there he goes on to talk about school shootings. And this is what I have to say about that. They're normal. They're absolutely normal. School shootings happen so much in this country that when I hear about the school shooting, it's like you pause for a minute, but then you're like, where? How many died? It's ridiculously, it's becoming normalized because it happens so much. Then he also spoke about the lack of movement in regards to this. Our government does not give a damn about school shootings. They do not care at all. They want you to send your children to school, and they want them to die there. And you know this because this is the actions they've taken. Okay? They don't give a damn. They do not give a damn because they're not doing a thing about it. Okay? And one thing I'm saying here, I don't understand why they don't have the metal detectors at all these schools. They definitely put them in all the hood schools, you know, certain areas that, you know, because, oh, it's the hood. We got to have that metal detector there. Okay, fine. Why can't these uppity, I don't know, white schools that are being shot up so rapidly, why don't they just put metal detectors at the doors? Anyway, Dave went on to talk about here, basically that they're doing school drills. The schools are actually doing drills like they do the fire drill, the hurricane drill. They're doing drills for shootings, telling the children, oh, if this happens, we want you to go here. We want you to hide there, meet here afterwards. And two things Dave said about this. One, this has to scare the crap out of our kids. It really does. To honestly, in your face, just right there, yes, it's really possible for a shooting to happen here. And when and if it does, this is what we're going to do. Has to be anxiety filled, just crazy. We did not have to worry about that going to school. And the other thing he pointed out is that the shooter's in the classroom. The shooter is a student that's in the classroom, and he is learning the drills and where you go to hide right along with everybody else. So ultimately, it's kind of pointless when it's all said and done. Facts, okay? You can't disagree with that. Then one thing he said is that in the past, black people have stepped up and saved this country. And he said, it is absolutely our duty to do this again. This is our country too, and we should do our best to save it. And what he means is that every single solitary black person who is of age should register for and go purchase a gun. Go get one, even if you're not going to use it. Even if you buy it and stick it in a freaking safe in the closet and lock it up and never look at that sucker again. Just do that. Because if you remember in history, when the Black Panthers became organized and mobilized, they were strapped, ready to go. And they scared the hell out of white folks, okay? And that's when the government stepped in and started making laws about guns because they didn't like seeing what they saw. So, I want everybody, and I'm dead ass serious here, if you're listening to me, if you watch the Dave Chapell special, go buy a gun. we need to do our due diligence here. It's the only way that we might be able to protect our kids at school. Or if you decide to go to a movie or shopping or a concert, you know what I mean. And the crazy thing is, and I'm going to say this here, those are homegrown white terrorists. Every single one of them that step in and do this. They're not a lone wolf. If they have mental issues, I really don't give a damn. That's a terrorist, okay? So from there, he went on to talk about the Me Too movement. Now, he called this years ago. He said, although he definitely agreed with the Me Too movement, there was definitely a reason for it. It was a long time coming, but that it wasn't being handled correct. It wasn't organized. People were literally calling out other people for sexual things with no proof. They weren't pressing no charges. They were just shaming the hell out of somebody and trying to screw up their life. And this is true. And he brought up his friend Louis C.K. And he went on to talk about the story that Louis C.K. was accused of. And he was like, I just don't buy that. He was like, exactly what is he guilty of? And he told this story, and apparently, I don't know, he jerked off in front of a few people and jizzed on his own stomach. Some crap like that. It was funny as hell the way Dave put it. But anyway, so he said that, yeah, it wasn't done correctly. And it probably needs to be organized. Then he went on to say that he felt like there was going to be a serious backlash from the Me Too movement. And he was like, and the backlash is, 8 of our states have overturned abortion. It's illegal in 8 of our states to have an abortion. This goes into effect January 1st, 2020. That's the truth. I also personally believe this is a step to get to the Supreme Court to completely overturn Roe versus Wade and completely outlaw abortion in this country altogether. That's what I see going to happen here. Okay, then he went on to talk about the opioid epidemic, and this one had me rolling. It did. Because basically, he said, it's just like what happened in the 80s with black folks with crack. You know, when the white man brought in all the crack to the black neighborhoods and flooded us with it, and we didn't know what the hell it was, and people were getting sick and hooked and crumbling and dying, and they said, oh, that's a criminal, let's throw him in jail and throw away the key. That's what they did to black folks when we were going through this. And now that it's hit white America and they're getting to see what's happening to their kids and whatnot, he basically said that feels a little different when it happens to your kid, huh? You actually give a damn, because they sure as hell weren't giving a damn when it was happening to black folks, okay? And he was like, and I feel the exact same way that you do. And he was like, y'all didn't care? I don't either. He basically said it again. It was funny. It was hysterical. And he was like, how's that just say no working out for you? Like, he had me rolling. He was factual with it. Now, I don't wish harm on anybody. I don't. But I do believe in karma. And I believe that for a whole group of people, karma has come back around and reared her ugly head. And karma's a bitch. And you can count on her all the damn time. And I think it is what it is, basically. So yeah, that's it. I hope you will watch this if you haven't already, and leave comments below, y'all. I would love to get into conversation about this one. This is a good conversation, many points here. If you like my videos, hit the like button, become a subscriber, and thanks for watching, y'all. Bye bye.